This year, MLB The Show 23 introduced storylines, which told the story of 8 different Negro League players and their journeys throughout the Negro Leagues. This was the first time we've seen these players. Was it actually the first time these players were included in video games? Now, why is it so important that we focus on this topic? Well, I think it's important because MLB The Show did such a great job adding these storylines, really bringing light to these players that, a lot of people didn't really understand or know anything about. And I think it's important that we dig back and see if there was an attempt to do this previously, because these players were so historic and put up ungodly numbers in a different league. And surely if more people knew about these players, there would be more support overall of the Negro Leagues and the associated stars. As an avid gamer myself, I knew that in the past 10 years, I surely didn't know of any of these players existing in other video games. Of course, the exception would be Jackie Robinson, who broke the color barrier. He's involved in several video games, including MLB The Show, going back several years. You even see sprinkles of Satchel Paige, Monte Irvin, and other players that played in both leagues. But what about the players that only played in the Negro Leagues? Someone like Buck O'Neil or Josh Gibson, to name a few. Well, I went back and I looked at old baseball video games to answer this question. What I found was truly unexpected. Okay, I'm teasing this up a little bit. Let's go back and look at some of these historic games, and by the end, we should have a good idea of what players may or may not have been included in these games. I started by looking at the most popular video games from the early 2000s. The simulation baseball games, not the retro style games. I figured this would be a good start. And the earliest I could dig back was Triple Play Baseball, which was released on March 12, 2001. But sadly, they didn't have any legends. So I went and I looked back at the first legends that were featured in baseball video games. And it turns out that World Series Baseball 2K3, released in March of 2003, who featured Jason Giambi as a cover athlete, did have legends. Unfortunately, none of these were associated with the Negro Leagues, but still pretty cool. Released shortly after that was Slugfest 2004, one of my favorite video games of all time, but this game didn't even have any legends. So we really had to go back to the drawing board, and I had to do some more digging until I ultimately found the Holy Grail. No pun intended. I think you'll be shocked as to what game I'm about to reference. Some of you may not have even heard of this game before, but I'm talking about the All-Star Baseball games. The ones that starred Derek Jeter as the cover athlete? No, not that one, not that one, and no, not that one either. All-Star Baseball 2004 featuring Derek Jeter was the first time that Negro League players were starred in a video game. But before we get into what players were specifically in the game, I wanted to spend a brief second on this franchise. These All-Star Baseball games were so ahead of their time. They featured modes like the pickup game mode, where you picked round robin style of 20 random players and played on a sandlot in jeans and weird shoes, and oh my god, these games were so fun, man. I really am going to have to make a video about this game in general. But the coolest part of the game, in my opinion, was the vast array of legend players that they had featured in the game. I mean, this game had it all. They had all these legends not even featured in the most recent MLB The Show games, like Mel Ott and Roy Campanella. But they also had a massive amount of Negro League players headed by Josh Gibson. I mean, this is really insane when you think about it. When you think about all the games that were released, with all the competition of these fast-paced sports games like Slugfest, NFL Blitz, NBA Street, just to name a few. And this game just somehow took all the legends they possibly could and put it in the game to stand out. These players continue to be in the franchise until 2005, and was the last to feature these players until 2023. So, what does this mean? Well, I'm not really sure. I couldn't find much information regarding why All-Star Baseball had so many Negro League players. However, I did my own research, and I reached out to some of the developers of the game. One of them actually got back to me. So I asked them, how were they able to include all these Negro League players? And he told me that their licensing department actually went out and got all these players on their own. And for the Negro League players specifically, the team worked with Buck O'Neil and was actually featured in several videos surrounding the game. And I will play the audio of one of these videos at the end of this if you guys are curious. So there you have it. If you learned something new or enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you would like me to make another video like this, please leave a comment. Also, if I got anything wrong or if you feel I missed anything, please let me know. I'm planning on making other videos like this. And if you've made it this far, thank you. Until next time.
But do you think that the portrayal, whether it's in movies, on television, in magazines, books, whatever the case may be, do you think the portrayal of the Negro Leagues or the Negro League ball player is accurate as to the way it really was?
No. No, the soul of the game and all of those things, that wasn't the Negro League. No. The Negro League was the third largest black business in this country. All you needed was a bus, a couple of sets of uniforms. You could have 20 of the best athletes that ever lived. And they made money. They made me pay right here. Cincinnati. And we filled up Crosley. The major leaguers, maybe 1% of major league ball players were college men. Because, you know, major league got them right out of high school. 40% of the Negro League baseball players were college men. Because the black college was more or less like a minor league for us. We always trained. The Negro League team always trained in a black college town. And we played them in spring training. That's who we played in spring training. And these guys would go to school in the winter, in the summer, they would come and play baseball. Some of them would come and play baseball, and some would go back to teaching in the winter. That was Negro League baseball. It was exciting.